So, I'm gonna sound like I'm complaining because I technically am, but I don't want to make it out to be that I'm complaining. Um, and I've kind of relatively touched on this, but not really. But like, man, Christmas time, it's almost here, and although it's supposed to be a positive time of the year, and it is one of my favorite times of the year, honestly. But at the same time, it's like, not to compare, but I just look at some people and I think to myself, I'm like, man, how do you afford to go and Christmas shop, pay rent, pay bills, pay all these bills, go out, celebrate, I don't know, you know, do those sort of things. And like, I'm working every day and doing multiple things. I mean, I've always like sold stuff on marketplace and had a number of ways to work and make money, but it still doesn't matter. And it's not a jealousy thing or anything, but I look at people um, that are, able to Christmas shop, um, that are, it's like nothing skips a beat. And I just think to myself, I'm like, how do you do it? Like, what's the secret? Is it just buying gifts throughout the year? I think that's probably the smartest way to do it, right? Buy on the off season, buy a gift here and there. That way, when Christmas rolls around, you have enough presents. And then you have so many people in your family, you know what I mean? And some people have really big families on their mom's side and their father's side, just every which way. And yeah, just sometimes I can't wrap my head around it. I'm like, how do you do it? Like I'm technically I'm doing it, but I always feel like I'm getting by the skin of my teeth. Like it's it's kind of like, how am I gonna pull this off? And I don't really quite have it figured out until I guess I'm in the mix and you know shopping and trying to just figure out how I can shop and pay bills and do all these things. And when I say that, I don't mean, having to go out or do a bunch of things, because when I save money and I really need to save and I'm in a tough spot, I'll stay home. Like, I don't need to go out and do things. I'm very much capable of finding things to do productively and things that are fun without having to spend money. Um, and I also understand that people obviously have better jobs, right? Higher paid salaries. And that makes sense. But I think even when I did, now is a kind of a collective thing that makes up um, for an income. But when I did have just that one steady safety net of a job, I still, I don't think I ever had it to where I could just freely spend money and not have to worry or um, keep up with what's in my bank account and yeah, do all those things of like monitoring. And I know that I'm in the same boat as a lot of people, but at the same time, it's like, where I live, you see it more being living in the city. So obviously, people have larger salaries, or they wouldn't move to the city in the first place. Um, but still, you know, I mean, I don't have to go over this. Obviously, things are more expensive, so that makes it harder. But yeah, just like sometimes you just like, what are you doing that is able to, because there's people that I know firsthand that work and they have that job that pays them well, but it's still not enough. But they somehow are able to pull it off. And I don't want to sound like I'm not able to like scrape two pennies together and get by, because I've managed to live where I live. But yeah, it's just something that I notice. Just something that, and you know, like I said, I live in the city, so it's more common to see people that are, I don't know what's going on in my throat, by the way, but that are just able to afford whatever they want, do whatever they want, and still pay bills and really not skip a beat. But yeah, I mean, as far as I can remember, it's always been like a thing where uh, it's not enough, like never enough. And I don't mean that in like like a satisfactory rate. Just like, I just mean that in the way of having enough to live comfortably or close to comfort. But I think a lot of people at least strive for that. But it doesn't matter how much skill you have, how trustworthy or loyal of a worker you are. It's, it's hard to find work, or work that's going to pay you what you're worth. So there's a lot of that happening. And then at the same time, it's like you can't blame society, because, I mean, let's face it. I remember months ago, well, now it's probably been about a year or so, but I remember just for like extra cash, I went into a Target, and it was some logistics job. I think maybe it was something like that, or working in the electronics department. And when I talked to the supervisor, or the guy, the manager or whatever that hires people, the hiring manager, he told me that there is a record number of people applying for this position. And I just asked him, I was like, well, okay. Like, that was the first thing that he said. It's not like, yes, we're hiring. Like, immediately he went to that. And he did say we are hiring, we are looking for somebody. But he also said, he said it like this. It was kind of like, hey, how you doing? Me asking, hey, you guys hiring for this position? He's like, you know what? There's a lot of people that are coming in here looking for a job. We are hiring, but I'm going to tell you right now, there are 75 people that are just applying for that same position that you're looking for. And I was like, really? And I mean, he informed me, and he said, that's like a record number. And we're not talking about like being in a busy part or anything like that. Like, if this was like in the city, like, I would expect that number or more. But this is when I wasn't living in the city. Or, this was a couple years ago, because I've been living in the city now see, there you go. Time just goes by so quick that I forgot how long it's been. But I remember this because it stood out to me. But yeah, even like 3 years ago, when I asked this was like in the suburbs, in an area where, a small town, not a lot of people. And I just, I was kind of taken back by that. It's like, damn, really? Like, 75 people applying for this one tiny position when there's all these other positions to fill. I mean, I don't remember it being a whole lot, but there was a couple, definitely like 4 or 5 different positions at this Target. But I just thought that was nuts. I don't want to dive any deeper, because honestly, I do not like talking about politics. So I just wanted to keep it on the surface level. But yeah, I'm just like, man, I don't know how people are able to afford the lifestyle that they have, and then some. I mean, even if you make like a certain amount of money a year, it doesn't seem feasible anymore. So, but speaking of which, I got to get to work. don't want to waste any more time that I have already. I had to go to the doctor's this morning, so that took up some of my time. And yeah, still need to get on with the day, and I have a whole day ahead of me. And Christmas is here in like 8 days, so gotta pull it together. But I don't know. I think a lot of people can relate to the situation that I'm in, or at least wonder to themselves and think, man, how do some people do it? It's crazy. Ludicrous. Got a frog in my throat today. I don't know what's going on. Been drinking plenty of water. Hydrating, but I don't know. Hopefully I'm not getting sick or anything. Alright, that's really what I want to talk about. Got to get on with the day. But good luck to everybody. I hope everybody has a good holiday. I mean, I'll see you again, but just wanted to put that out there. Hope luck is on your side, by the way, too. And you're able to afford everything that you set out to afford or buy. Yeah. See you guys next time.